Elwynn Forest feels like one of the safest places in World of Warcraft, and for most players, this is where their stories begin, but it's also one of the first places where the game quietly shows you that the world isn't under control. And the strange part is, the game never directly tells you that, it just lets you notice it, but once you start noticing it, you can't really unsee it. Elwynn is a calm forest with simple quests and nothing too threatening, or at least that's how it feels. But the moment you start paying attention and looking a little deeper into the forest, it doesn't feel completely safe at all. Over the years, especially after Cataclysm, a lot of zones in Azeroth were altered and changed. Elwynn Forest today is more guided and controlled, and on the surface, a lot calmer than it used to be. However, if you look closely, you can still see hints of what it was designed to be, because underneath the calm exterior of the forest, things are constantly going wrong. Firstly, the zone does everything it can to make you feel comfortable. The lighting is soft, the music is calm, and the enemies like the wolves, spiders and kobolds are simple. And nothing in the forest feels immediately overwhelming. You are provided with the space to learn, explore, and to get used to how the games work. And all this creates an expectation that Elwynn Forest is a safe place to be in. As well, for older players returning to the zone, the nostalgia of returning to the forest also helps in the feeling of safety. But that feeling doesn't last very long. The cracks start to show in small ways at first. One of the first quests you experience is scouting out the mines in the forest, to see if the reports hold true that the mines have become overrun with kobolds. At first, kobolds feel insignificant, almost like filler enemies placed there to help teach players about combat. But they aren't just random creatures, they are living and surviving in those mines and have chased out all the miners who were digging for resources. The kobolds shouting, "You know, take candle" as you fight them, sounds like a joke and a funny thing for them to say, but it hints at something deeper. It hints at the fact that these kobolds are territorial, and now we are coming into their turf, when these mines are meant to be full of Elwynn miners. So this world is already showing signs of conflict, and you've been put into the middle of it straight away. And a little further in the zone, you get asked to investigate the Murlocs. Up until this point, the enemies like the wolves and the kobolds have been predictable and manageable. But the Murlocs behave differently. They group up and they can overwhelm you, and some even use ranged attacks. What felt safe suddenly feels kinda chaotic, and you can easily die here if you're not prepared. And this becomes very apparent when you come across the aftermath of their attacks, including Stormwind guards who have clearly struggled to deal with them. The world no longer feels like it's entirely under control, and at this point it becomes clear that these problems aren't just isolated incidents. They're signs of something more organised underneath it all. In the classic version of the game, the Defias Brotherhood had a much stronger presence in Elwynn Forest, and they were formed when Stormwind was destroyed during the First War, and later rebuilt by the Stonemasons Guild, who were then refused payment by the nobles of Stormwind, as they instead put the money into expanding the military's presence throughout Elwynn and through to Stranglethorn. This resulted in riots which led to the guild being disbanded, and the guildmaster, Edwin Van Cleef, instead creating the Defias Brotherhood, who caused unrest in many areas including Elwynn Forest. And whilst the presence of the Brotherhood has been toned down over time, it hasn't completely disappeared. You can still see traces of it in quests like the Collector, where you travel to the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch, which is overrun by bandits, and are tasked with killing Morgan the Collector, who turns out to be part of the Brotherhood. The small details found in this quest hints that there is a larger network of bandits within the southern eastern kingdoms, and it feels like instability is operating just beneath the surface. And though this may be easy to miss, it changes how you see the forest, because now the danger isn't just random, it's structured and has a history to it. Eventually you'll hear about the Gnoll camps, which have popped up on the edge of Elwynn Forest, and you'll hear about one Gnoll in particular, who is Hogger. And this is where everything comes together. Hogger isn't just another enemy, he is stronger and more dangerous, and for many players, the first time the game stops feeling fair. Up until now, Elwynn has been slowly introducing risks, small threats, chaos and signs of something larger. Hogger is where all of that turns into a real problem. Especially in the classic version of the game, you are not expected to just walk up to Hogger and fight him solo and win. You either needed to group up with other players, or you would fail and die countless times to him. Even in the Cataclysm version of the zone, you do not truly defeat Hogger when you fight him, as when he becomes seriously injured, guards are brought in to capture Hogger and transport him to the Stockades, which is the high security prison in Stormwind. And who knows how long the prison will actually be able to hold Hogger at bay for. And all of this causes a huge shift, because Elwynn is supposed to be the safest place in the game, and yet right here is a fight that you're not ready for, and that you are not expected to win. And then there's Goldshire, and on the surface it feels like safety. There's a place to rest and to regroup, always taking a break from everything else. But not everything is as it seems. Guards are patrolling the town, and if you take even a small step outside of Goldshire, the safety disappears almost immediately. Enemies are everywhere and they get close to roads which are meant to be safe for travel, and the guards patrol the paths but they don't extend very far beyond those roads. Goldshire isn't true safety, it's just a small pocket of it put there to create a sense of ease. And that's what makes Elwynn Forest so interesting, because it sits next to Stormwind City, a place that's supposed to represent order, power and control, and if anywhere in Azeroth should feel secure, then it's here in the forest. But ultimately, Elwynn tells a different story. Conflicts are still happening, resources are still being fought after, and you, a fresh new player, are already being pulled into solving problems that shouldn't exist. So is Elwynn Forest actually safe? Well, not really, it's just made to feel safe. It's a feeling that the game creates on purpose, because by giving the player a calm introduction and then slowly revealing the cracks underneath it, the game teaches you something important. The world of Azeroth is not stable and it never was. What's changed over time is how visible that instability is. Modern Elwynn Forest feels smoother, more controlled and less threatening. But that's not because the world itself has become more peaceful. Far from it, it's because the game has gotten better at hiding the chaos underneath the surface. And that's why Elwynn Forest still works, not because it's truly safe, but because it convinces you that it is, and it does it for long enough you start believing it. If you'd like to see more videos where I break down parts of Azeroth, then be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as more videos like these are to come. In the meantime, why not check out my Elwynn Forest travel guide video, where I explore the zone as if it was a holiday destination.